Have you ever watched the person you love become a stranger right before your eyes? It doesn't happen all at once. It's a slow fade, a chilling erosion. For me, it started with the blue glow of a phone screen at 2 in the morning. My wife Sarah was asleep beside me, her breathing even, but her phone, lying face up on the nightstand, lit up with a message she never thought I'd see. It wasn't the words that broke me, not at first. No, it was the name, Mark, and the single, heartless emoji next to it. Oh, simple, smiling devil. In that silent, blue-lit moment, I knew my life was a lie, but I had no idea how deep the deception went, or that my quiet suburban life in Chicago was about to become a war zone. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. Sarah and I had been married for 10 years. We had the house in Oak Park, the 2-car garage, the life everyone pretends to want. But for the last 6 months, a subtle frost had crept into our home. The easy laughter was gone, replaced by a tense, brittle silence. Her late nights at the office became more frequent. She'd come home smelling of a perfume that wasn't hers and a vague hint of expensive whiskey. When I'd ask, her answers were clipped, dismissive. "Just a client dinner, Alex. You know how it is." I didn't. I was a high school history teacher. My world was textbooks and grading papers, not clandestine meetings in downtown Chicago. The discovery began in pieces, like assembling a shattered mirror. A credit card receipt from the RL restaurant on Chicago Avenue for a dinner for 2 on a night she was supposedly working late. A recurring charge for a parking garage near the Warwick Allerton Hotel. I'd call her, and the phone would ring and ring, only for her to text back an hour later, "Sorry, in a meeting." She became a master of manipulation, twisting my concern into paranoia. "Why are you checking up on me?" she'd ask, her voice laced with a cold, manufactured indignation. "Don't you trust me?" The word trust felt like a shard of glass in my throat. They grew bold, arrogant. They believed they were untouchable. I saw them once, by pure gut-trenching chance. I was on a field trip with my students at the Art Institute, and through the glass facade of the modern wing, I saw her. She was laughing, head thrown back, as a man Mark I presumed leaned in and brushed a strand of blonde hair from her face. He was smug, a predator who'd claimed his prize. My prize, the world tilted on its axis. The chatter of my students faded into a dull roar. I felt a profound public humiliation, even though no one there knew who I was or what I was seeing. I stumbled back, away from the glass, my heart a cold dead weight in my chest. That night I broke. I sat in my car in our driveway for an hour, the engine off, just replaying that image, the laughter, his hand on her face. It was a poison that seeped into my soul. The grief lasted for a week. Then something else took its place. A cold, clear, and terrifying resolve. The history teacher, the quiet, predictable husband, was gone. A strategist was born in his place. My first call was to a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop named Frank. He was expensive, but worth every penny. For the next 3 months, I lived a double life. By day, I was the oblivious, slightly pathetic husband. By night, I was a general, poring over Frank's reports, photos of them checking into the Allerton, videos of them kissing in a dimly lit bar on Rush Street, financial records. Sarah had been funneling money from our joint savings account into a private one, thousands of dollars. For him, for their life, that's when I found out about the pills. While looking for financial documents in her desk, I found a prescription bottle tucked away in a drawer, lorazepam, for anxiety. The irony was staggering. She was the one causing the chaos, the pain, the anxiety in our home, yet she was the one medicated for it. And that's when the plan, the final, brutal act of my revenge, clicked into place. It was simple. It was cruel. It was perfect. I went to a compounding pharmacy and had them create identical-looking capsules filled with nothing but sugar. For weeks, I meticulously swapped her real medication with my placebos, 1 pill at a time. I became an expert at opening and resealing the bottle. The trap was set. I contacted a top divorce lawyer, a shark named Ms. Albright. We prepared everything. The evidence was ironclad. The photos, the financial statements, the PI's sworn testimony. We filed for divorce, citing adultery and misappropriation of marital assets. The final piece of the puzzle was the timing. Sarah's parents were celebrating their 40th anniversary with a huge party at a lavish banquet hall in the suburbs. Her entire family, all their friends, everyone who saw her as the perfect daughter, the successful wife, would be there. The night of the party, Sarah was on edge. The weeks without her medication had frayed her nerves, leaving her irritable and anxious. She thought it was the stress of her demanding job. She had no idea. We arrived at the party, and I played my part, smiling, shaking hands, the dutiful husband. An hour in, as her father was giving a toast, a man walked into the room, a process server. He walked straight to our table and placed a thick manila envelope in front of Sarah. "Sarah Jensen?" he asked, his voice flat. She nodded, confused. The room didn't go silent, but a ripple of whispers started. She tore open the envelope. Her face went from confusion to disbelief to pure, unadulterated horror as she saw the first few photos. Her and Mark, kissing. Her hand went to her mouth. She looked at me, her eyes wide with panic. I just stared back, my expression a cold, empty mask. But that was just the beginning. "What is this, Alex?" she hissed, her voice trembling. I leaned in close, my voice a low whisper only she could hear. "That's the life you chose, Sarah, and this is the consequence." I then stood up and addressed her parents, my voice ringing with false sincerity. "I'm so sorry to interrupt this beautiful celebration, but there's something you all need to know about the woman my wife has become." And then I told them everything. The affair, the stolen money, the lies. With every word, her composure crumbled. But the final blow, the one that would shatter her completely, was for her alone. As her world was burning down around her, as her parents stared at her with disgust and her friends with pity, I leaned in one last time. "You seem a little anxious, Sarah," I whispered. "You've been taking your medication? I have to confess something. For the past 2 months, I've been replacing your anxiety pills. They're just sugar tablets. Every bit of this panic, this terror you're feeling right now, that's all you. Raw and unfiltered. I wanted you to feel everything with no escape." A sound escaped her lips, strangled, guttural scream of pure psychological agony. It wasn't loud, but it was horrifying. It was the sound of a soul breaking. She finally understood. It wasn't just about the affair. It was about the complete and total destruction of her reality. I had taken everything from her reputation, her family's respect, her financial security, and finally, her sanity. I turned and walked out of that banquet hall without looking back, leaving her in the ruins of the life she had torched. The divorce was swift and brutal. The evidence was overwhelming. She got nothing. Mark, the smug affair partner, disappeared the moment the legal trouble started. A coward, just as I'd expected. Months have passed. I live in a small apartment in the city now. Sometimes late at night I walk past the Allerton Hotel. I look up at the windows and I don't feel anger anymore. I don't feel sadness. I feel nothing. The revenge was a fire that consumed everything, including the man I used to be. All that's left are the ashes.